Welcome to video 4. This is more multiplication. So take a look at the problem on the board. We have 4 times 2/5. Now the rule says that you cannot multiply fractions unless they're both in fraction form. Can you remember how we change a whole number like 4 into a fraction? Can you remember? Who remembers? Without changing the value of the number. That's right, you put 4 over 1. When you put 4 over 1, it still remains the same. It just has a 1 underneath it. So 4 over 1 times 2 over 5 doesn't change the value of this number. And now what do? Well, we multiply the top and multiply the bottom. So 4 times 2 is 8, and 1 times 5 is 5. Can we leave the fraction like that? No, we can't. The top number is higher than the bottom. It's an improper fraction, not proper. What are we going to do? We're going to divide the bottom into the top. So I make my division symbol, and then I bring my 8 down here, and I say 5 into 8 goes once, and 8 minus 5 goes 3 times, which means 3/5. And so my answer is not 8/5, it's 1 3/5. So let's do it again. Let's do another problem. Well, let's say that we have 1/2 times 6. Here's a fraction times a whole number. What do I need to do? I need to change that whole number into a fraction form. And what am I going to do? I'm going to put a 1 underneath the 6. So it doesn't change the value of the 6. And what do? I can multiply the top and multiply the bottom, or I could cancel. I could say 1 times 6 is 6, 2 times 1 is 2, or I could say, oh, and then here I would change it. 2 into 6 goes 3 would be my answer. But if I wanted to cancel, I could go like this. 2 into 2 is once, 2 into 6 goes 3 times, and that's 3 over 1, or the answer is 3. So you need to multiply the top, multiply the bottom, make sure that you have 2 fractions. If you have a whole number, you need to put a 1 underneath it to make it a fraction form. Let's try another one. How about a problem like this? 3 1/8 times 2 2/5. Okay, now here I have 2 mixed numbers. And what I need to do is I need to change these mixed numbers into a fraction form. And the only fraction form they can be changed into is an improper fraction. Do you remember how to do that? You need to multiply the bottom and add the top. You need to multiply the bottom and add the top. So how are we going to do that? 3 times 8 is 24, plus 1 is 25/8. And 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12/5. What did I do? I multiplied the bottom, added the top. So now, what can I do? Could I cancel? I sure could. I could say 5 into 5 is once, and 5 into 25 goes 5 times. I could say 4 into 8 goes 2 times, and 4 into 12 goes 3 times. And then I multiply the top and multiply the bottom. 5 times 3 is 15, and 2 times 1 is 2. Can I leave it like this? No, no, no. The top number is more than the bottom. So what am I going to do? I'm going to divide 2 into 15. And 2 into 15 goes, let's see, 7 times with 1/2 left over. 15/2 is 7.5. Okay, let's try another one. Let's see, how about 1/5 times 1.5? 1/5 times 1.5. So what am I going to do? I'm going to multiply and add. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3/2. And then I multiply the top and I multiply the bottom. 1 times 3 is 3. 5 times 2 is 10. My answer is 3/10. Is it in the lowest terms? Can I reduce 3/10? No, I can't. 3/10 is just fine, just the way it is. There's my answer. Okay, one last one. 6 1/4 times, let's see, 2, and let's have 2/3. Now, what am I going to do? Oh, come on, you know, you have to multiply and add. Multiply and add. 6 times 4 is 24, and 1 is 25/4. Times 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8/3. What did I do? I changed these mixed numbers into improper fractions. I multiplied the bottom and added the top. So, can I cancel anywhere? I can. 4 into 4 is 1, and 4 into 8 goes 2. And then 2 times 25, multiply the top, multiply the bottom. 2 times 25 is 50, and 3 times 1 is 3. Can I leave it like that? No, I can't. I need to change it. This is an improper fraction. The number on top is bigger than the number on the bottom. And what am I going to do? I'm going to divide the 3 into 50. 3 into 5 goes once, with 2 left over, huh? 3 into 20 goes 6. 6 times 3 is 18, with 2/3 left over. And what's my answer? Why, it's 16 2/3. So now I would like you to go into the workbook 1 and practice. Practice, please, more multiplication. I'd like you to go to pages 40 and 41, that's part 1, and pages 44 and 45 is part 2. Practice, 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 and then come on back for the rest of video 4. Welcome back to video 4. This is dividing fractions. Now I have to tell you that most of my students find this section of fractions very easy and enjoyable because they feel that they already know how to do division of fractions. And I'm going to show you that because what you do with division of fractions is you really have to multiply. And if you can multiply fractions, well then you can divide fractions. So get ready because I'm going to show you. Let's take a look at this problem. We have 2/5 divided by 1/10. 2/5 divided by 1/10. Now the rule in division of fractions is you flip over the second number and change the sign to multiply. You flip over the second number and change the sign to multiply. So let's take a look at that. We have 2/5, and the rule says you flip over the second number. Here's the second number. You want to change 1/10 to 10 ones. And then what do you change to? Oh, you change to multiply. You flip over the second number and change to multiply. And you already know how to multiply. You could multiply the top and multiply the bottom, or you could cancel. Let's cancel. 5 into 5 is 1, and 5 into 10 goes 2. And then 2 times 2 is 4, and 1 times 1 is 1, and 4 ones equals 4. So 4 ones equals 4. So what do? You flip over the second number and you change to multiply. Let's do another one. Let's see if you really know how to divide, and I bet you do. Let's take 4 and let's divide by 1/3. So remember, what do I need to do with my 4? I can't multiply or divide fractions. If I have a whole number, I have to make it into fraction form. So I'm going to put 4 over 1 and say that's divided by 1/3. And now the rule is you flip over the second number and you change to multiply. So here we go. We have 4 over 1 times 3 over 1. 4 over 1 times 3 over 1. And what do? You multiply the top and you multiply the bottom. 4 times 3 is 12, and 1 times 1 is 1, and 12 over 1 is 12. So pretty easy, huh? To multiply, to divide fractions, you need to know how to multiply fractions. And if you can multiply fractions, division isn't so bad. You need to flip over the second number, not the first, the second, and change to multiply. Let's do another one. Let's see what we're going to do. How about let's take 1/3 and divide it by 4. So here we have 1/3, and we need to divide 4 over 1. Remember, we have to change our whole number to an appropriate fraction. We have 1/3 times 1/4. You flip over the second number and change to multiply. 1 times 1 is 1. 3 times 4 is 12. Okay, you ready for some more? Let's do something a little bit harder. Let's take 1/2 and let's divide by 2/2. Now again, when working with fractions, it's very, very important that we change our mixed numbers into improper fractions. And how do we do that? Come on, you remember. You multiply the bottom and add the top. You multiply the bottom and add the top. So here we go. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3 halves. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5 halves. And what are we going to do? We're going to flip over the second number and change to multiply. So 3 halves times 2 fifths. I flipped it over. And what can I do? I could cancel. 2 into 2 is once. 2 into 2 is once. My answer would be 3 fifths. 3 fifths. So what did I do? I flipped over the second number and changed to multiply. Let's do another one. Let's see how good you're getting. Let's try 4 divided by 2 and 2 fifths. 4 divided by 2 and 2 fifths. I need to put my 4 over 1, and then I need to change this. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12 fifths. And what am I going to do? Flip over the second number and change to multiply. So 4 over 1 times 5 twelfths. Can I cancel? I sure can. 4 into 4 is 1. 4 into 12 is 3. And this is 5 thirds. Now, can I leave 5 thirds like that? No, that's an improper fraction. What I need to do is I need to divide 3 into 5. So 3 goes into 5 once, with 2 thirds left over. So 5 thirds really equals 1 and 2 thirds. So how do I do division of fractions? I flip over the second number and change to multiply. So, again, if you can multiply your fractions, then you can divide. You're going to find sometimes that you might get a different kind of problem, and I want to show you just how to do this, just in case you ever meet this. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about comparing fractions. We're going to compare 2 thirds and 3 fifths and 3 fourths. Now, looking at 2 thirds and 3 fifths and 3 fourths, can you tell which one is the largest or which one is the smallest? I know that there are some of you out there who have great mathematical minds, can look at these numbers and say, this one's the smallest, this one's the largest. But if you need to find out how to do it with numbers, I'm going to show you. A good way to compare these fractions is to change them to a fraction with the same denominator. So I'm looking for one number that 3, 5, and 4 will go into. So let me multiply 3 times 5. It's 15. Will 4 go into 15? No. So that's not a good number. 5 times 4 is 20. Will 3 go into 20? No, well, that's not a good number either. How about 4 times 3 is 12? Will 5 go into 12? Well, no. So I guess that's not a good number. So what I need to do is I need to multiply all 3 of these together. I need to multiply 3 times 5 times 4. Let's do it. 3 times 5 is 15. 15, 30, 45, 60. So 15 times 4 is 60. Our new denominator is going to be 60. And what am I going to do to change these fractions? I'm going to divide the bottom, multiply the top. So 3 into 60 goes 20, and 20 times 2 is 40. So 2/3 equals 40/60. 5 into 60 goes 12, and 12 times 3 is 36. So 3/5 equals 36/60. And 4 into 60 goes, let me think, it goes 15 times. And 15 times 3 is 45. So, which one is the smallest? Well, this is the smallest. Which one is the largest? Well, this one is the largest. Isn't 45/60 more than 36/60? Well, now this is how we compare fractions. What I'd like you to do, though, is I'd like you to get some more practice with division of fractions. And I'd like you to take a look in Workbook 1, Part 1, pages 42 to 43, and also Part 2, pages 46 to 47. Now, you also might want to take a look on pages 48 and 49. You're going to see something very special, and these are called review sheets. Now, in this review sheet, it will go all over fractions. As we get into decimals and percent, ratio and proportion, I don't want you to forget your fractions. So this is a review sheet. You'll learn how to reduce. Well, you've already learned how to reduce. You'll review how to reduce and raise to higher terms and compare. You'll learn how to change to an improper fraction, to a mixed number, to add, to subtract, to borrow, to multiply, to divide. And if you take a few minutes every day and use these review sheets just to look and to review, you won't forget your fractions. So please don't forget your fractions. And after this review sheet, you'll find a test, Test 1 and Test 2, and then come on back for the next video, Video 5, Word Problems.